Welcome back to Beyond the Idea. I am here having an entrepreneurial conversation with a rock star. She is amazing. So let's get right to it. Let's just not talk about her. Let's have her talk about her. She knows better than anybody what she does. But I mean, I've watched her just blossom and grow this last couple of years. So Kelli Kilpatrick, welcome, and tell us about who you are and what you do.
Well, Tony, first of all, thanks for having me. I can't tell you what an honor it is to any time I can spend with Tony Caruso is time well invested. So I appreciate just having a little bit of your time to introduce myself even more to you, even though we know each other well, but then to the network that you have. So I'm Kelli Kilpatrick, founder and CEO of Kilpatrick College and Career. Truth be told, I'm a 30-year career higher education leader turned college and career coach in the last few years. It's a COVID decision. Like many people, decided that if I'm going to spend the last decade of my career doing something, which I will spend, another decade, that I wanted it to be in a space that was more entrepreneurial, which I hadn't been able to play in those spaces for my entire career. But during my higher education career, I would say I was blessed and I was lucky. My dad, who's a farmer, was, God rest his soul, a farmer, would tell me all the time, there's no such thing as luck. Like you define your own path forward. And I actually, the older I get and the wiser I get, I think the more I believe him. But I was very fortunate through my career, Tony, to work at some really amazing colleges and universities in the United States of America. So, some examples of the places that I have had the pleasure of serving through leadership roles are Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, Duke University in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, the Research Triangle Park. In my own home state where I was born, had the privilege of working at Texas Christian University and Texas A&M University and College Station. My personal connection to colleges and universities goes even beyond like where I've personally worked because I went to school at a Texas A&M system school. I went to school at a University of South Carolina, go Gamecocks. My kids have gone to school at TCU and the University of Texas at Austin. I also spent a summer along with 125 others that were hand selected from around the world to study higher education leadership at Harvard. And that really, in that incubator of case-based learning, that was a turning point in my career. So I've been pretty darn blessed. Not, I will tell you though, when it comes to Saturday college football or college basketball, we're just kind of confused in this household as to who to root for. We have a lot
Yeah.
of allegiances.
Well, and you have two amazing daughters. I mean, I must say, they are friggin' incredible. They are like top of the notch learners, educators, but they are socially just amazing. And then dancers, cheerleaders. So, to be able to do that, to bring up two amazing, strong women, tells a lot about who you are and how you um, juggle the business, the work-life kind of balance that everybody wants.
So you actually just caught me by surprise. I have tears in my eyes. If you guys can't see that, because I think the most important, I've done some really important work in my life. Um, the most important work that I've done, not alone for sure, in partnership with my wonderful husband Russ, is being a parent to those two blessings in our lives. Now, I will tell you that I attribute a tremendous amount of their success to his parenting, my husband's parenting, because we had when you talk about work-life balance of a professional woman that has been serving at top leadership roles in really big organizations in this country and is now, at the forefront of what I have a vision for is going to be monumental. I'm not doing incremental work here. I have a vision for monumental work in this college and career space. I couldn't do any of that were it not for an amazing husband. So we made a decision when our kids were born. I got married very late in life, and we made a decision when our kids were born that we would follow my career, and he became the stay-at-home parent. And I will tell you that not every marriage can do that. Not every man can do that. But it certainly benefited our daughters to be raised by predominantly by their father. Don't get me wrong, I had an impact in that. I had influence in that. But he was the always present one. And sometimes I didn't even live in the same state with them. So we did make sacrifices and compromises to get to a place where someone like you, who have only known my daughters for a couple of years, maybe three, would say something heart so heartwarming about the thing that I'm most proud of. And this actually leads into kind of my coaching values in Kilpatrick College and Career, because now, as founder of Kilpatrick College and Career, I've really started to build a business based on 5 core coaching principles, and the number one principle is family.
Right.
Um, Interestingly, so much so that my youngest daughter who's gone off to corporate and has decided that corporate is not for her, actually started in the firm last week. And she's in a business development role. And literally, she's on like day 7 or 8, and she's killing it already. And it's amazing. I mean, I told both of my girls, I was like, I'm growing this company, I'm growing this business. If you want to be a part of it, get on, because we're going somewhere. And so I'm excited to have her join, and the other one is set pretty well in a really good place that she loves and enjoys. I don't know if I'll ever be able to be the benefactor of her amazing skills, but family is my number one coaching value. Um, Self-advocacy is an important coaching value, because with my clients, and I'll tell you who my clients are in just a moment. With my clients, I teach them how to advocate for themselves, which is incredibly important life skill. Financial literacy is one of my coaching values, and the last two I think are the most important: growth and belonging.
Nice.
So you may ask the question, like, who do you do this? Like, who do you do this for? Like, what in the world do you do, Kelly? Like, what the heck? What do you
We're so
do?
confused out here. Tell us,
Are you
Kelly, what do
confused?
you
Yeah.
do?
So all of this experience that I've amassed in the higher education context, when COVID hit, I was sitting on Notre Dame's campus in South Bend, Indiana. Decided to return to Texas, which is my home state. And a series of events evolved that basically became the impetus for really just revealing to me that I need to have flexibility, but I also want to do some really important work in the world. And so Kilpatrick College and Career was formed for the sole purpose of serving overwhelmed parents and young careerists who are really uncertain about the college search process and the career search process, and they don't even know where to begin.
Right.
Both of these journeys are high stakes processes that are incredibly complex these days. And I don't see any of them becoming any easier, to be honest with you. As one who has designed the systems that have made this complex, as one who has read hundreds of thousands of college applications, college essays, interviewed hundreds of thousands of college candidates, and hired thousands of people myself all around the globe. I can tell you that it's complex and it's not getting any easier. And the investment is significant. So high stakes, high investment. And basically, what my clients are doing is they're seeking a trusted partner to help them navigate the process with a little bit more ease and a little bit more confidence. And there's a lot of noise out there when you ask questions. You could ask the same question to 10 different people in this space, and you're not going to get the same answer, the same response. There's a lot of noise. And so I just know that what people are looking for is a single source that they can go to where they know if that person doesn't know the answer, she's got a broad network of people
Right.
that she can lean into to get the answer. And so, yeah. And so here's what my parents say when I talk with them. My parents are my early careerists. They say, especially in college admissions. Now we're talking about undergraduate admissions and also graduate admissions because I have core competency in both of those spaces. But they say if they went to college in the United States, it was a long time ago, and they tell me without fail, every single person that it's not the same at all. It's not the same at all. Same process, looks like, not at all. Look, not at all experiencing the same. If they went to college outside the US, which I have a number of these kinds of families, they went to college outside of the US and their children are aspiring to go to college in this country. They either live in this country or they're in another country and their children are aspiring to come to the US for American higher education. They like the experience about this educational system, and so they don't even know how to navigate it. And then the last bucket is maybe parents that didn't go to college at all. They've been very successful and they want their children to at least have a college degree so that they too can be successful, if not more successful. And so they don't have a blueprint. And so the common denominator through all of those categories of people that I just explained is that they're they're all they're all confused. They none of them know where to begin. And if they do know where to begin, they don't know how to navigate multiple colleges all across the US concurrently and to land at the place where their child is going to be safe, where they belong, where they can thrive. And what parents care about is that they get good jobs on the other side.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a couple of things that came to mind. First of all, what makes you stand out is the fact that you were been on both sides.
I have been.
You've admitted them, and now you're trying to get them admitted. So
Yeah.
you know what that business is like. There are a lot of people, and I know some personally, who put their kids through this whole process and
Right.
feel as though now they're the expert, and they open up a shield and they're like, come to me. And it's like,
Yeah.
you put one kid into college, you don't really know that. So I think it's important that we understand that when you are looking for someone to guide you through this
Right.
maze, that you pick the right person and
Sure.
you are the right person because you do know both sides. As someone whose son
Mhm.
chose the army
Yeah.
over college, I didn't have to go through that process. And
Yeah.
thank God I was like, blessing, yeah. And he's thriving and he's now going to college on his own and doing great. But we didn't have to go through that process. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could have handled it because there are a lot of questions. Why don't I know this? And where's the answer for this? And so you act sort of as a therapist. And then you have the parents who are, my kid, I went to USC, my father went to USC, my kid's going to USC. But you find that USA is not the right community because this kid needs more of a smaller, more intimate, a different type of college. You become a therapist at the same time, correct?
A little bit. I certainly become a someone who can help facilitate those conversations within the family, right?
Right.
Definitely a facilitator. And what's interesting is that the first conversation that I actually facilitate is the college cost foundation conversation, which most people don't have until much further downstream. And so, because financial literacy is one of my core values, not only do I want to teach the child who is going to be going to college independent from mom and dad for the very first time and spending money that they've never had and those kinds of things. But I want them to know what this cost is over a 4-year time horizon. I'm developing spreadsheets, I'm doing financial projections. We're looking at what the costs are, total cost of attendance, not just tuition, what the revenue sources are. And there's a line item of revenue sources that says parents' contribution. And so if the parents have planned well, then they may have a 529 in place and there may not be any conversation about cost. But if the parents, which are many in this country and outside of this country, have not planned as well, or their planning has been outpaced by the rise of cost of college, then there's a gap. And so what we have to do is to discover how big that gap is so that the child can incorporate that into their consideration set whenever they're making a final decision, or they can go looking for scholarships to close the gap. It's on them.
Right.
And so I help with that whole process, which I think also makes me unique. I want to go back for a moment, and you said that I've been on both sides. There's actually another side that I've been on that makes me even more unique. There was a period of time in that 30-year cycle in higher education where I was actually a management consultant for the number one enrollment management consulting firm in North America. So I actually visited colleges and universities all over this country and helped them design the systems to market, recruit, and retain students. So I know all institution types, from community college to historically Black to all women to big public research to private. I've seen them all.
Awesome.
So there's another dynamic in there that gives me a perspective in this business that makes it a 360-degree view, which I think becomes very valuable to my clients.
Well, it makes you very, very unique and special.
Yeah,
So, and I love the fact that you're special.
thanks.
So, so, eWomen Network, you are a big part of our chapter, and you were a premier success coach this last year. What brought you, other than your daughter, to eWomen Network? And what have you found in our community that you have thrived with?
So eWomen Network has been a group, it is a group of mostly women, but we are also have our emails, if you
Yes, we
will. I
love
know
we
you
love our
refer,
emails.
we love our emails, who are really committed to entrepreneurship. That's the common bond that we all have in play. And so what I have found is a place where I can kind of be vulnerable and talk about the challenges of being an entrepreneur, which again, 30 years inside of more corporate settings, and higher education is more corporate than not. Um, and really lean into resources that are needed when you're an entrepreneur because you're expected to do it all, but you can't.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think that has been super important for me is other women, and I've not always had this in my career, by the way, other women who want to see me succeed as I want to see them succeed. And so there's these great like collaborations that are happening just organically. I was sitting at the luncheon 2 weeks ago, Tony, sitting next to Chastity, who in the last couple of weeks has sent me two leads.
Amazing.
And of course, the week after next or next week, Lindsay Monahan and I, who's a financial advisor, are going to be presenting to the entire group of our North Dallas and Plano chapter. And so those are tremendous networks, and those are the types of people that make my best power partners too. Uh,
Right.
now let's not understate to the fact that you personally and eWomen Network has also given me tremendous confidence in my own speaking abilities. And so now I'm speaking on stages in part, large part, not solely, but in large part to you and eWomen Network. I'm speaking on stages, and that's a whole nother revenue source for my business. Were it not for eWomen Network, I wouldn't be doing that probably.
Well, it's been really a joy to watch you get up on that stage and to watch you because in the beginning you were a little confused on what you were doing and you were in this and I keep watching all these posts about this student got into here and you're connected with the Miss Texas pageant and you're helping those scholarship programs and I mean you've become this bigger than you
Yeah,
know person that in just 2 years. I
yeah,
mean,
I have
it's
a
been
vision.
amazing to watch.
I'll tell you, I have a vision. It's gonna get bigger. It's going
I
to
love
get
it.
bigger. Yeah, it's going to get bigger.
Well, just remember us little people as you get up there, because
Look, I never forget where I came from. Remember, my dad was a farmer, And what I ended up, my mother was a school teacher, so I never forget where I came from in Fannin County, Texas. Never will I forget where I came from.
Well, we're glad you're here now. And so if somebody has a referral or if somebody wants to work with you, how do they get in touch with you?
The best way to find me right now is on social media, either on Facebook at Kelli Taylor Kilpatrick, on Instagram, Kelli Kilpatrick Coach, or on LinkedIn. Either any of those three avenues are the best. I have a website and process. I've experienced all this. Success can come even without all the great stuff in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I would, if I were to give any words of wisdom to anybody listening to this, it's, just freaking do it.
Oh,
Like,
I love
just do
that.
it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I'm all about just leap. Just
You just
leap.
gotta
You'll
leap.
figure it out. You'll
You'll
figure it
figure it
out.
out.
And
And
what's
that
so
is
nice about you
so
women, we're there to carry you the whole way.
And that is so against my DNA. I'm a planner, I'm a strategic planner, I'm a visionary. You got to have the steps. And to just do it is really, and to show up on social media at my age has been, I would tell you that I carry that as a badge of honor.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's a pleasure. And all the links to get a hold of Kelly will be in the comments. So check her out. If you've got somebody ready to get into college or someone who's in middle school and you're thinking about college, you got to start early. You got to get these kids prepped. So reach out to her, get to know her, and get her in her DMs. I,
Yeah,
I usually I talk about handles and stuff. I'm old school. So the
that,
fact that
that
I
works
said
too.
DM was
However,
like,
use whatever nomenclature you want to use.
whatever.
I'm not specific. However
Yeah,
you
reach
want to
out to
find me.
Kelly. She is amazing. And it's been a pleasure having you here and a pleasure having you in my community. So thank
Oh,
you.
thanks, Tony.